Stay at home. It is not a request anymore. It is an order from Governor Larry Hogan. There are now more than 1,400 coronavirus cases in Maryland. WJZ has team coverage. Amy Kawada with what this order means for you. Amy?
Good morning, Lynn. That's right. This stay-at-home order has been in effect since 8 last night, and the governor says we can now only leave our homes for essential work or an essential purpose. An emergency alert went out on phones statewide, and some quickly lined up at grocery stores. But the governor urged people not to panic. The order does allow you to leave for groceries or medicine if you're caring for someone, or even if you want exercise, as long as you follow social distancing guidelines.
We are no longer asking or suggesting that Marylanders stay home. We are directing them to do so.
Police have ramped up enforcement. Violators can be charged with a misdemeanor.
And upon conviction is subject to imprisonment not to exceed 1 year or a fine not exceeding $5,000.
This comes as the number of COVID-19 cases has skyrocketed to more than 1,400 in Maryland, with patients as young as a month old. WJZ has also learned a second Baltimore County officer has tested positive.
This is indeed the greatest public health challenge of our lifetimes.
There's a new drive-through test site at FedEx Field, and the state is opening up more test sites at admissions testing sites in Bel Air, Glen Burnie, and Waldorf, but only for those who have appointments. Tests are still hard to come by.
One of the key shortages that we have is not only personal protective equipment, but it's the lab supplies to do these tests.
Another concern is for state employees. The union says at least one staffer and 3 employees have tested positive at Clifton T. Perkins Hospital. And because of the 2 positive tests of the Baltimore County police officers, 32 county officers are now under quarantine. And this morning around 10 here at the historic courthouse in Towson, we're expected to hear an update from the Baltimore County Executive, John Yochevsky. Reporting live this morning, I'm Amy Kawada for WJZ.
Thank you, Amy. Amazon tells WJZ an employee at the fulfillment center in Sparrows Point tested positive for coronavirus. In a statement, the company says it is supporting the individual who is recovering and following guidelines from health officials and medical experts to ensure the safety of employees at the site. The company says it has told employees about the case and is asking employees who came in contact with that individual to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. A second death is being reported at a nursing home in Carroll County where there's been an outbreak of coronavirus, a man in his 80s with underlying health conditions. WJZ is live this morning at that Mount Airy nursing home. Mike Hsu with more on the dozens of cases being reported there. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Tim. 11 more people have tested positive here, and another resident has died. It is a dire situation, so bad that the National Guard is here to help. First, a man in his 90s died. Now the virus has taken a man in his 80s. Like most of the facility, their battle included underlying health conditions. What you're about to hear are numbers, but each represents a person. Over the weekend, the count was 66. Yesterday, it jumped. Health officials in Carroll County say 11 more are infected, bringing the total to 77, with 16 in the hospital.
And I don't think it's extremely unusual to see something like this when it's unknown to spread through a nursing home.
From Chopper 13, you can see the National Guard setting up a life and death matter, some dressed in full protective gear. Nearby, a mobile command unit from the Sheriff's Department. The National Guard are here as part of a medical unit to assess the conditions of everyone who remains and determine which residents need a higher level of care.
There are some people who will get into real trouble with this disease. They will lose their ability to breathe properly. They will feel weak. These are people who may have underlying conditions, or as I said earlier, they may not.
State police are here checking the IDs of people wanting to get in. Remarkably, no staff members have yet tested positive here. The health department says that they are sending over staff and supplies to help. I'm Mike Hsu reporting live in Mount Airy for WJZ.
Mike, thank you. For the first time, the U.S. surpassed 500 deaths in a single day from the coronavirus. Riley Carlson reports for WJZ. The death toll in the U.S. is over 3,100. Governors are still looking for more equipment and people to fight the outbreak.
Governors in some of the hardest hit states are pleading for help.
Please come help us in New York now.
The U.S. naval ship Comfort arrived in Manhattan yesterday to treat non-COVID-19 patients and free up local hospitals.
Not all of our nation's heroes wear military uniforms. Many wear scrubs.
Governor Andrew Cuomo says his state also needs more medical personnel.
We need relief for nurses who are working 12-hour shifts.
California Governor Gavin Newsom made a similar plea.
If you've just retired in the last few years, we need you.
The outbreak isn't limited to the coasts.
No geography is immune to the coronavirus.
Yesterday, several rural state governors used a conference call with President Trump to sound the alarm about medical supplies. In audio obtained by CBS News, Montana Governor Steve Bullock says he urgently needs test kits.
Literally, we are one day away if we don't get test kits from the CDC, then we wouldn't be able to be tested in Montana.
At the White House, the president praised the private sector for producing more equipment.
10 companies at least making the ventilators.
Brady Scott is a respiratory therapist at Chicago's Rush University Medical Center. He says new ventilators can't come soon enough.
So many people that need the breathing machines that just simply haven't been manufactured yet.
Some potential good news: President Trump showed off a new test designed to deliver results in just 5 minutes. Riley Carlson, CBS News.
No bail for the Charles County man caught having large parties at his home. Sean Myers is charged with failure to comply with a lawful order. Twice in the last 10 days, police were called to his house in Hughesville for 2 large gatherings of more than 10 people. A growing number of doctors and nurses say the pandemic is stretching our healthcare system to the brink of disaster. Everywhere you turn, the emotional toll on doctors and nurses is obvious.
I've cried many days. I haven't seen my children in 13 days. They're with my ex-husband, and basically we're concerned for having them around me because I don't know what I'm bringing home every day.
That is Baltimore ER doctor Diana Lake, who says she's taking extreme measures to protect her family from the virus. Many doctors report it's like working in a war zone with limited resources. Some have taken to social media to express their fear and frustration. Long hours and constant pressure can create a mental strain difficult to bear.
It is 6:40 now. With hospitals running out of much needed supplies, people are stepping up to make sure they have what they need. Now, that includes here inside a home on Miller's Island. A lifelong seamstress assembled a team to help make masks. Now, this whole effort was inspired when Candy Evans' daughter saw a Facebook post about the need for masks, and she says she immediately thought of her mother.
I want to cry. This is just such a weird time for everybody, and it feels good to help people that really need this right now.
Now, these aren't just any masks. They go over the hospital mask to keep it clean, and they're made to be put into the wash every night so they can be reused the next day. So far, more than 400 have been donated.
Ocean City also wants to make sure everyone complies with the governor's orders. The town's lawmakers are extending the closure of the beach, boardwalk, and inlet parking lot through April 30th. Visitors and property owners are being directed not to travel there. The town is working with local hotels and the Chamber of Commerce to ensure compliance of the new orders. Gas prices across the country have dropped to their lowest point in years. Here in Maryland, the statewide average was $2.05 a gallon on Friday. Yesterday, several gas stations in Baltimore listed prices as low as $1.75 a gallon. AAA officials say the drop is because the coronavirus outbreak has led to more people staying at home.
For both crude oil as well as retail gasoline continues to drop as fewer drivers are on the roadways.
Right now, we're all hustling, working harder, running around to try to make the dollars that we can't make or that you've lost. And I guess it's helping.
AAA officials say it's too soon to tell how the pandemic will affect Memorial Day or summer gas prices. But stay with us as we follow the new developments in the pandemic, both on air and online. We have everything you need to know posted at WJZ.com.